Now look, if you want to put yourself in the best possible position for this bull run, if you want to make the right choices at the right time, if you want to be one step ahead of the herd, and again, not just make the most money, but do so in a very safe way, this is the video you need to watch. I mark my words, this is urgent as it's just as simple as that. What are we talking about? It's not exit levels. It's not price predictions. It's not buying the coins. Guys, this is going to help you do all of that. It's regarding human emotion. No, we're not going back to school. This isn't something that you can afford to skip. This is a must know, especially if you're a new crypto investor trying to get your bearings in the market. It's all very confusing. I get it, right? But this is something you need to listen to, because mark my words, it's going to react upwards of 97% of you in this market. It took me years to get this in the back of my mind, and I'm here to explain it to you, hopefully in less than 20 minutes. All I ask for all the hours I go into making these videos and the countless hours used to research to bring you the no BS crypto truth, a like on the video would be greatly appreciated. So thank you for everyone that goes ahead and supports the channel in that way, and make sure you're subscribed. That's not supporting me, that's going to be supporting you. Let's get down to business. As I said, everything is based on human emotion in any market, crypto or otherwise. But crypto specifically, it's hyperbolic. I oftentimes refer to crypto as basically a child, and regular markets, traditional markets, are kind of like an adult. If, say, for example, the S&P 500 gets news that, say, World War III begins to break out, heaven forbid, of course, that's going to impact those markets substantially. But we all know crypto will react to that 10 times worse because it's 10 times more speculative. It's as simple as that. And what do all these markets have in common? Again, markets are just people. It's psychology. It's people versus people always. Some examples here. What happens when the price goes down, all right, on your favorite crypto coins? If you haven't got conviction, you want to immediately sell. If there's news of an upcoming huge announcement and it's maybe hinted at the news, it's like kind of confirmed, but not actually officially starting just yet, kind of like the news that the ETFs on Bitcoin were coming out, you want to buy it. Typically, that means buy the rumor, sell the news. What happens when there's a big unlock coming out for a coin? Well, of course, you want to sell. Most of us say, well, hey, like in Pith's example, if the supply is going to increase 2.5 times, diluting the shares, that is going to mean a rough 2.5 decrease in price, kind of like this, where the price just falls off a cliff. This is pretty common, right? In the economies all around the world, when inflation increases, that dilutes the purchasing power of the dollar or whatever it may be, currency in that particular economy. Likewise as well, individual companies with stocks, if they have a new funding round and they pretty much mint new shares, it dilutes the existing shareholders, and of course that means that their shares are worth less. However, what if I told you that actually that was completely wrong in crypto? And the consequence of this is actually more severe than you think. Many of you will be listening to this going to yourselves, okay, I see where Kyron's going here. He's going to start talking about tokenomics and more specifically token unlocks. But guys, this is why most of you will not make money in the market, and why guys like me that understand this play you time and time again like it's a cheat code, and you wonder, where did I go wrong? If you're putting your hard-earned cash into this market, into coins, you have to at least understand this basic part of tokenomics. Missing out on these opportunities, right? So looking at a coin like Pith over here, with these massive unlock schedules, okay? Again, Celestia, massive unlock schedule. Optimism, massive unlock over here, over 2xing its supply. Solana, actually 8x'd its supply in the last cycle. And from this point, would you believe me if I said Solana 50x'd? If you saw a coin in this cycle that had this looking chart, I guarantee you and every other influencer in this damn market would be fading that coin. So understanding this, I cannot underestimate, could lead you missing out on a whole bunch of gains, and you could be potentially missing out on buying a great dip into a coin you maybe have interest on, like I called for Pith over here in its unlock. It had an unlock over here. It actually dipped. It went from 44 cents at that time down to 38 cents. So it was a good buying opportunity. And then on the day of the unlock, it actually spiked. Oh, a massive unlock happening here. And it spiked on the day of the unlock. And this is the recurring theme for every other project, for that matter, that has a massive unlock. So why does this happen? To put it simply, because this will very easily confuse many people, and that's why I actually created the Tokenomics master sheet. I spent $10,000 creating this sheet. It's almost finished, and I'm going to be providing it completely for free in the private community, by the way. All you have to do on this sheet is very simply look at two numbers to determine whether a coin is a good or bad buy based on unlocks. That's why I created it, to save you guys time, stress, and hassle. But to put it simply, when you have an unlock with Pith or any other coin for that matter, the unlock itself does not impact the token price. This unlock will not impact the price at all. And the reason being is because when these unlocks happen in crypto, it's unique. These are coded into the blockchain or into the actual protocol itself. So when they happen, they aren't unlocked and then go and are sold on the open market, therefore actually decreasing the price, and then sent off to whoever the tokens are being sent to. They bypass that middle step and they go straight from the unlock and are sent directly over to the person getting the tokens. It's the exact same as if Satoshi Nakamoto came back and transferred those 1 million tokens he or she owns and sent them directly to me. It will not impact the price of Bitcoin. The only time the price would ever be impacted is if everyone shat themselves, which no doubt at that point everyone would, and they would just freeform sell Bitcoin like there was no tomorrow, okay? So it's called an OTC trade, or over-the-counter trade. This is the exact reason why the big institutions and big whales in any sort of project will oftentimes ask market makers or exchanges themselves, hey, we have 300,000 Bitcoin, we want to sell this, rather than selling this on an exchange like Binance, therefore destroying the price of Bitcoin entirely and also slippage, killing the overall gains I'm going to make. I'm going to agree with Binance directly or a market maker, hey guys, I'll give you my 300k Bitcoin and I want per Bitcoin this price. And that trade happens, I send them my Bitcoin and that does not impact the price at all. This exact exchange of hands is what happens when tokens are unlocked. So the token unlock itself isn't what is the danger thing here. It's not scary at all. The actual scary part is when the unlock gives those tokens to people or entities that are likely to sell, like Celestia. This is one case where the unlock gave all the unlocked tokens to investors. And that means that, of course, the unlock could have meant the price of Celestia would crumble down. Now, there's a whole bunch of other reasons I could go into as to why it didn't actually end up happening on the day and why it was a great buy opportunity. Most importantly, because these investors, as you just saw, have like, what even is this? Like 90% of their tokens to still actually have unlocked here. And ultimately, they're not going to tank the price of Celestia just because they're up even a couple hundred multiples. They know the bull run's happening. They'll likely be able to sell in May, June, July of next year and have maybe 50% of their tokens and have a much higher Celestia price. So there's a lot of, I guess, market psychological reasons that go into these things. But to keep it simple for this particular video, it matters who has the tokens and are they incentivized to want to sell straight away. This is also why another massive fallacy in crypto regarding inflation is also wrong. People think inflation itself is the exact same as inflation in traditional economies. It is not. The reason being is because just like vesting schedules, we know exactly who is getting these tokens when the inflation happens. Inflation occurs from when validators and delegators receive rewards for securing the network. They receive rewards, and by doing so, of course, the network is more secure. However, if those of you who have ever delegated or staked your tokens before, you know that when you get these tokens passively every day or every week, you don't instantly sell those tokens. You hoard them for, of course, the appreciation of the price of the token itself because you believe in the project. You might sell at the end of the bull run, sure, but you're not going to sell now. And that's what I'm saying. Inflation doesn't even directly impact the price of the token itself, like some people may assume. So this is why we can actually have a look at this and look at a vesting schedule like Solana and actually say, hey, if we actually have a look at who's getting their tokens, is it the foundation? Well, these guys aren't going to want to sell their tokens because Solana isn't going to want to get all their foundation tokens and dump them on the open market. Why would they do that, okay? Or the community or strategic rounds, the grant pool, whatever it may be, we can see who has their tokens and are they likely to sell. That is why in the Tokenomics master sheet, we can look at these actually occurring, like with Injective, for example, here, or Near Protocol, and see who has access to the tokens between now and the end of 2025, so likely the last time we could possibly end up selling our coins here. And then based on that, core contributors here are they going to want to sell? Obviously, they're investors. Or is it going to be given to community grants? Well, the community grants aren't going to sell. They might be given to entities working in the near ecosystem. Then they might get their near tokens and want to sell, but that's a few exchanges of hands that we can't account for. So it matters who has the tokens, not how much of the supply is unlocked. So obviously that's probably one of the biggest and most prominent issues I find the majority of people facing in crypto. It's seeing the unlocks and applying traditional ways of thinking to this process, when in reality, it's kind of bizarre, but it's actually very wrong. This just means that you might miss out on buying a great coin like Ondo that I was calling at 50 cents. That's now 4x and likely could even go up on 10x from here in its narrative pump. And there is an argument to be made, yes. Unfortunately, again, because like I said before, it's a market. It's people versus people. Whatever the majority thinks will likely, of course, happen. If the unlock itself is seen as a detrimental thing in the case of Ondo, Pith, and many other coins, or as some of the topics I'll mention here in a second with FDV and others, if people perceive it, generally speaking, to be a bad thing, it's going to actually come into fruition. However, like many things in crypto, it's only perceived a certain way when people realize, oh, that wasn't actually as bad as what it was, and the price of the coin starts moving up, everything is forgotten, the blinders go on, and then they start panic buying. And that's likely going to be you as well. So of course we can front run this, and that's what we're trying to do here. Now, with all that being said, I do want to talk a little bit about a very specific situation when it comes to having a certain amount of market cap flowing into a coin to maintain a certain price in relation to unlocks. Ultimately, a lot of people do have this wrong, where they think that an unlock increases the supply of the token and the market cap has to actually increase in terms of money invested in it to maintain that current price. The unlock with Pith, for example, here, where the market cap went from 660 million up to 1.7 billion, so to get 2.5x the market cap, they think that actually that requires that much money to be invested into Pith to keep Pith at the same price it pretty much was down here. Again, it barely moved in price. But of course, that is wrong, right? Because the way that market cap is found is price times supply. So when you have an increase in supply, the market cap will actually move up regardless. And like I just showed you with Pith, that's why we have these massive instant single day spikes when a massive unlock occurs. It's kind of beating a dead horse here, but hopefully it's starting to make a little bit of sense. Price and market cap is a one-way street. The market cap itself can never influence the price because the market cap is only ever found from the price. I know it's kind of confusing when you think of it like very basically, but if you actually dive into it, the market cap is reflected up and down from the circulating supply. If you took out 1 million tokens today from Bitcoin, they never existed ever. You didn't burn them, you just took them out of supply. They never existed. Of course, that would then change the current market cap. If you threw in an additional 1 million Bitcoin today, that would increase the market cap. Okay, but the price would never, in that whole process of the market cap moving up and down depending on the supply, it would never change. It would never, ever change in that process. But you add in, you buy a whole bunch of Bitcoin on the open market and you actually push the price up, the market cap will always move with the price. So it's a one-way street, and to think that an unlock has to have that much money invested in it to maintain the price is actually backwards, okay? Again, like I showed you here with Pith in the Pith example, again, this just goes price times supply equals the market cap. So you don't have to have that much money invested in it, which is why I say, for Pith to 2x, the market cap doesn't actually need to have invested into it 3.6 or whatever it is billion dollars in total. So doubling it. It doesn't need the extra $1.8 billion. It just needs the price on the exchanges to actually go up on average. Now, again, I can get very nuanced here, and already I might be losing some of you guys thinking, what's he talking about here? So I just want to keep this basic for now to get you guys into the sort of understanding and thinking here that it's not always the market cap that is required to move the price. It's actually the price aggregated here. And again, like I've been trying to make a very important point, the unlocks themselves do not affect the price as it looks initially. You've got to dive a little bit deeper, okay? And again, this is the difference here between an investor that's going to make a shitload of money in crypto and someone who's just going to have to rely on an influencer and their calls this bull run. This is a part of the game where we kind of have to dive into at this point in the cycle and really look to take advantage, as I said, of these quality coins like Ondo, for example. One of my biggest pet peeves in crypto is this whole FDV debacle. People look at FDV or fully diluted value and they think that FDV has any sort of importance in the market. It all is, again, based on unlocks. FDV says, hey, what would be the market cap of Ondo if all the tokens were in circulation? Okay, so again, we actually track this in the Tokenomics master sheet here for Ondo. All right, the FDV is about $16-17 billion, but that's not important. What is important here is something called TDV, true diluted value. This represents the dilution from now until the last part of 2025, aka the latest we'll likely end up having to sell. Listen to what Alex Becker had to say here about Illuvium.
But if I go and point out Illuvium to you, you can see that really didn't hold it back last run. You can see it did crazy returns, even though it had a crazy fully diluted value.
He said it himself. So how can a coin like Illuvium over here go from like back down here, 11% unlocked, which means the FDV would have been insane. It would have been 10 times larger like Ondo is. So if the market cap was 100 million, the FDV would have been 1 billion, so a huge increase, and yet it still did crazy gains. It actually did a 50x. How is this possible? Again, it's because FDV itself does not matter, because we're not selling when all the tokens are in circulation. We are selling, within 12 months, basically. So why are we looking over here when we should be looking over here at the latest? A great example here is also Virtual Bacon as well. He spoke about Near Protocol and how great the FDV is on Near Protocol.
And look at this tokenomics as well. Out of the fully diluted market cap of 4.4 billion, 94% of that is circulating at 4.1 million circulating market cap. Really good tokenomics across the board.
Now, again, that's not actually good. Why are we trying to say that it's actually a good thing to have all the tokens in circulation when that means that investors, right, have all of their tokens to dump? They have no incentive to not want to dump the token. Unlocks themselves, FDV itself gives you this interpretation that if there's a lot of tokens that come into circulation over the course of time, that there's going to be a lot of sell pressure. Guys, we're not selling in 2030. We're selling in the next 12 months. So again, it does not matter. FDV is a load of nonsense. It actually, honestly, is probably a worse thing for tokens, cryptocurrencies, to have all of their tokens unlocked than it is for something like Ondo. Again, a really good score here on both of the investor warning score and the third-party warning score, as well as Pith, who, again, both of these coins have very similarly bad FDVs. How are they ranking way better than a coin like Near Protocol, by the way, or Injective that have all their tokens in circulation? It's because not all the investors have all of their money. It's as simple as that. So again, going back to the Alex Becker thing I said a second ago with Illuvium, okay? The reason why it had a horrible FDV and still performed well is because at that time, all the tokens weren't in circulation, okay? FDV is a narrative pushed by people, pulled in from, traditional markets, and it's gotten kind of skewed over the course of time. So I know I've dumped a lot of information on you guys, and I kind of do apologize for that, but I hope you understand. And look, if you do want to learn more on this topic, then let me know down below in the comments. I will not make videos on these topics, and I will just pretend like it doesn't matter on YouTube and keep all this juicy stuff for the private community if you guys don't want to know about it, all right? So with that being said, I'm saying this out of love and respect. I want you all to make money, believe it or not. So thank you for making it, this far into the video. And if you did find yourself enjoying it, hit that like button and subscribe. More of this is on its way. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.